There'll be moderate easterly breezes with lowest temperatures of 3 to 7 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
The Football Show on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by the new and improved Boyle Sports Bet Builder. Now with 44 markets to choose from on every match.
I'm prepared to do anything I can to play for my country again.
Do it then. What about your start to the game?
It wasn't bad, was it?
Why should an honest answer be a mistake?
How can a modern day manager not have a mobile phone?
Why should he?
Alrighty, Football Show. Kenny, we are watching events at Anfield. Barcelona have just had a very decent chance. Good save. And Liverpool still 1-0 up on the night. 52 minutes on the clock. 3-1 on aggregate. Kenny, I'll say it so you don't have to. Next goal is crucial. So sum up the 51 minutes. I've been very much live for the last hour, so I really haven't seen much of this game at all. I haven't even seen the goal properly.
Yeah, they have done well. It's been a little bit fragmented, the game. Anytime the game's kind of settled down and developed a bit of rhythm, Barcelona have looked the most threatening in terms of ball retention. They're so good. They've looked very comfortable playing at their pace.
Yeah.
But once Liverpool have, upped the tempo, really energised the game and kind of, introduced a bit of madness into the game, Barcelona have struggled a little bit with them. That said, I think on the whole, Barcelona probably had the better chances. You referenced the Suarez chance there, brilliant pass from Messi in behind. Didn't really catch the shot, Joe. It was a reasonably comfortable save from Alisson, but just half a minute before that, Virgil van Dijk backheel from a corner kick, only 3 yards out. Unfortunately, went straight at Ter Stegen. Otherwise, it was a goal. Great upper body strength. He was getting the jersey pulled off his back. Still managed to get the shot on target. That could easily have been 2-0. And likewise, half a minute later, Barcelona could have made it 1-1. It's that type again. It is on a little bit of a knife edge. But Liverpool, there's enough there to keep believing from a Liverpool point of view. Mane's pace, his dynamism up front is causing Barcelona problems. Wijnaldum's on for Milner in central midfield. So still delicately poised. Liverpool still very much in the game.
Like if you'd offered Liverpool this situation pre-game, they would absolutely have taken it. It's a really interesting.
It is a good position. They've got the goal, and most importantly, they've denied Barcelona that away goal. And time is creeping now. 52 minutes in. 35 minutes left, and it's as simple as that. It's an obvious thing to say. It's a cliche thing, but just get.
It's a goal!
Just get the next goal.
Wijnaldum has just scored for Liverpool. 54 minutes on the clock. We were watching this move develop in the right-hand side. Trent Alexander-Arnold pinched the ball on the right-hand side and he made his way down the touchline. And at that stage, there was nobody really in the box, so it didn't look that dangerous. And he pulled it back towards the edge of the area, went past Shaqiri, and Wijnaldum came onto it at pace. And he hit it straight at the keeper. I think that's going to be the keeper's mistake. We're seeing here, Alexander-Arnold pinches the ball. There's no one in the box at this stage. Players trying to get in. The cross takes a slight deflection to come back edge of the area. And Wijnaldum, he just puts a good contact on it. Yeah. Ter Stegen should save it. It hits off his left hand.
A couple of things there. Barcelona giving away cheaply. Trent Alexander-Arnold, we spoke about this the first leg, the benefits of having him in the team. This is it. Defensively, he's actually struggled a bit this evening, Joe, but this is what he gives you in the opposition half. He takes responsibility. He's got that quality about him. He got his head up. It was a slight deflection on the cross, but it was that third man run. Wijnaldum arriving from a deep position. We spoke about Liverpool previously, the previous game. The power in midfield, the running power that they have, the energy that they have to potentially run over this Barcelona team. That's when you see it. Ronaldo putting his head down, screaming into the box. I don't know who the closest would have been, Rakitic or Busquets, just can't stay with him. And it's a really calm finish. He's still got a bit to do, Joe. Kept his concentration, head over the ball, side-footed under the keeper.
Why is the referee being looked at? Okay, phew. No VAR. Kenny couldn't have taken that. Well. 55 minutes on the clock. Liverpool 2, Barcelona 0. Yikes.
High tempo. You got to keep this tempo. Here we are again, ball into the box, putting the squeeze on. This is what they need to do.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you, by the way, Shaqiri, who we haven't seen playing for Liverpool in a long time, has there been anything very off with his performance tonight to suggest that there's a reason he hasn't been playing? 3-0! Liverpool! This is unbelievable. Wijnaldum again with a header. Liverpool 3, Barcelona 0, 56 minutes on the clock. There's pandemonium. Did Shaqiri put in that cross?
I think he did. I was going to say he's had a reasonably poor night, Joe. It hasn't really happened for him. He's giving it away cheap. He's looked a bit out of sorts. You were saying he's shown that this evening. Why hasn't he been in the team? But this is potentially a reason why you throw this young from the team. Was it his cross into the box?
I
think it was. It was either him or Robinson. It was a left-foot cross.
Oh, it looks like... Is that Milner? Lays it back. This is Shaqiri, isn't it? Or is that Robertson?
That's Shaqiri.
Oh, it's a great header, though.
It is Shaqiri.
Shaqiri with the cross. Just whips it in, that left foot from the left-hand side.
I love that. Ronaldo again coming late on the run, arriving into the box. Plenty of Barcelona players. They look at the two Barcelona centre-half static. Piqué and Longley. That's the advantage you have. The likes of Henderson and Ronaldo arriving late into the box at pace. You can propel yourself up there. It's a brilliant header.
Great header.
Textbook header back across the goalkeeper. And give
oh my God.
The reaction of the supporters. But this young Shaqiri makes things happen, Joe. He's had a poor night tonight, but he's not hiding. Give me the ball.
Yeah.
That's self-belief.
Amigo.
But still makes something happen.
Yeah.
The cross into the box the other night for the Origi header at Newcastle. Yeah, I'll take on responsibility. You know, he's magic, that young fella. It hasn't happened for him tonight, but key moment there. Oh,
Kenny, I don't want to overstate our powers, but since me and you have been talking, things have happened. Just wondered, do we keep it going for another 2-3 minutes? Oh. What player will I mention now?
But this is the thing, another cross into the box, Alexander-Arnold. More panic in the Barcelona penalty box. This is it, this is what they need to do. Just keep these energy levels up, keep hustling this Barcelona team. Don't overcomplicate the game. Alexander...
I was going to say, at what point now do you think, OK, let's hang on for extra time penalties? You can't now.
No, you can't. I think you got to keep going. You got them on the rack. You got to keep pushing. It's not as if they're leaving themselves ridiculously open. You know, Fabinho's...
Van Dijk just tried to dribble, you know.
He did. But as long as Fabinho's sitting in for him, Matip is on the cover. One of the full-backs has got themselves in a reasonable... What they can't be doing now is getting overexcited and over-committing people forward.
There's a wildness about the game right now. It's hard to get it across. It's going end to end. Barcelona were in the attack. Now it's Liverpool. Henderson just put in a cross, which keeper takes, but it's end to end right now. You draw a breath for a second. I'll ask you for final thoughts before we go to Pat Nevin. All night we're giving you the chance to be in the running to win a trip to the Rugby World Cup 2019 in Japan. We have already given you the first two questions. And you'll need all three. Question one was, what's the name of the trophy awarded to the winners of the Rugby World Cup? Question two, the Rugby World Cup was held in which year? The first one. And your third question then is, where is the 2023 World Cup going to be held? So, question one, name of the trophy. Question two, Rugby World Cup was held in which year? That's the first Rugby World Cup, isn't it, Shane? Yeah, first Rugby World Cup. And then question three is, where is the 2023 World Cup going to be held? You should have all three answers now, so send them and your name to 53106 for 30 cents, and we'll announce our 5 winners, the last 5 tickets, before the end of the show, all with thanks to Heineken, worldwide partner to Rugby World Cup 2019 in Japan. Taking a short break in a second now. Liverpool 3, Barcelona 0, 3-3 on aggregate, 59 minutes gone.
Football on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by Boyle Sports. Now with same-day withdrawals to your Visa debit card.
The Pat Kenny Show.
On tomorrow's programme, cars broken into, passports stolen, what tourists experience when they visit Ireland. Danger on the Dart. Do we need a transport police? Behind the scenes at Casablanca, and what does it really cost to build a house in Ireland?
The Pat Kenny Show.
With MasterCard.
Tomorrow morning at 9.
On News Talk.
This isn't gonna be easy.
Why are you talking in that voice?
Late nights, intensive research. Forget about seeing your family.
Well, you're my wife.
We'll chase every lead, shake down every witness.
Wait, what?
Cross-reference every offer and triangulate every promotion until we find it.
Find what?
The way, Peter. The way to save on car insurance.
But I already went on to 123.ie. Save 10%, no questions asked.
Oh, I better cancel those sniffer dogs.
Simple is smarter. Get 10% off new car insurance when you buy online at 123.ie. Acceptance criteria, T's and C's apply. 123 Money Limited trading as 123.ie is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. RSA Insurance Ireland Act provides 123.ie car insurance.
Thinking of a stateside getaway? Book now with Aer Lingus and get €100 off return flights. Do amazing things in amazing places, like Segway along Miami's famous beaches. Cycle the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, or view Toronto from the top of the CN Tower. Smart books the trip of a lifetime to North America. Smart flies Aer Lingus. Book now at aerlingus.com. Offer subject to conditions and availability.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Now, welcome back. Don't worry, in the 3 minutes you've been gone, no goals, which is a miracle. Liverpool 3, Barcelona 0. It's just been an extraordinary 15 minutes of the second half. Wijnaldum has scored twice. Someone just tweeted there, this couldn't be true, but someone just said, Wijnaldum's only touched the ball 6 times this evening and scored twice. That can't be true. But, or when did he come on? Wijnaldum came on.
Half-time. He's come off from Milner.
Oh, well, then he may well have only touched the ball 6 times.
Yeah, I believe it.
Oh, yeah, of course. What was it? Milner, Henderson and Fabinho was the starter 3. So has Milner gone off? It's hard to keep track of this game. I'll check for you now in a second.
Is it Henderson or Milner who's come off? I'm trying to... Henderson had a knock on his...
Robertson went off.
Oh, Milner's gone to left back.
Yeah, Wijnaldum came on for Robertson.
That's it. That was that Suarez kick, wasn't it? At the end of the first half. Sorry, John. I've been watching as much as I can here. You can see it. Yeah, Milner's dropped into that left back position. He's the one who fed Shaqiri for the cross into the box. So what we can say about the few minutes since Liverpool have scored a third is they certainly haven't started worrying overly about Barcelona's away goal potentially making it. They need to score 5. They're still going for it. But again, look at the tactical substitution Valverde's made, similar to the second half from Barcelona when he hiked off Coutinho and put his 2 right backs together, Semedo and Roberto. It's exactly the same thing. It's just an indication, similar to the first game in the Nou Camp, how much Liverpool are in the ascendancy. Very rarely see this from any Barcelona man to take a big step back, make such a defensive substitution.
Yeah, this is extraordinary stuff. So 62 minutes on the clock. Football at the moment is just rather mental. So earlier on we caught up with Pat Nevin because there was a game yesterday to talk about. It already feels like it's been dwarfed in comparison to this at the moment. But Vincent Kompany did his thing. So earlier on, we caught up with Pat Nevin. And don't worry, we've split this interview up, so you're getting regular updates throughout from Anfield. So today was a bit frustrating because everyone was saying, don't shoot. I could really hear it. It was annoying me. I thought, hold on a second. I haven't come this far in my career for young players to tell me whether I can take a shot or not. So I just took it. And bloody right he did too, Pat Nevin. Hello.
How you doing? I have got a confession to make. I said, don't shoot. I shouted it at the telly. Don't shoot.
So did Pep, it seems. Pep was saying, don't shoot.
It's unbelievable. I only ever shout. I didn't shout it any other time in that game. I can't remember saying it at any other time in the past 6 weeks. Don't shoot. But I said it then. Shows you what we know.
There was an initial invitation to shoot, which he passed up, and then Leicester sort of invited him again, and he felt, well, sod this. There's not much else on.
And exactly, they've been trying most of the usual things to get through the middle, get to the byline, put crosses in. They tried everything, but it kind of wasn't working for them on the day. So, yeah, Vincent knew. I don't think he did know. He just had a leather at it. But what a goal. I mean, it's one of those strange ones where Schmeichel was having a great game, wasn't he? He was having a cracker of a game. It was really annoying. The fans there, the Manchester City fans there, and you thought it's going to have to be a deflection or something that's going to have to beat him. And then when you saw that goal from behind, it wasn't even close to it. It's 25 yards out. Schmeichel was a foot and a half, 2 feet away from it. It is the most perfect smack, the most perfect hit that you'll just about ever see. And it was deserved, obviously, without City playing at their best. It was totally and utterly deserved because they completely controlled the game. But I have to say, in the midst of it, I mean, it'll go unnoticed, but Leicester were quite impressive, particularly the way they passed the ball in the first half. They seem to be improving. They seem to be a much more interesting team to watch. But the problem was they weren't getting out of their own half in the second half. And, when that happens, something usually cracks and you usually get a few chances. But let's be fair. Come on, I'm going to ask you, did you think you should have shot before it?
When he passed up the initial opening, I thought, good man. Because if he shoots and blazes it over or wide and Leicester take 30 seconds to resume the game, then I think there's a real heaviness suddenly around the stadium. There's a lot of time to look at the clock and there's a sense that they've run out of ideas. If Vincent Kompany's doing this, and it may be true, maybe not true that they're running out of ideas, but it just sends that message, doesn't it? They've resorted to Vincent Kompany shooting. I wanted to ask you about the technique. That slash across it technique.
Yeah.
Did you like it? And is it generally, well, I'm just going to aim at the keeper and hope this doesn't slice too much? Or would you really try and place those slicey ones?
And that's oddly there's not that many players who can hit a ball completely clean without giving it a curl, either inwards or that slice.
Yeah.
There's actually not that many, especially when you're running with the ball. If it comes to you in a volley, you can usually, I would almost always cut it, just to get more control over it. So very few can actually catch it that clean. We've had this conversation before. The lefties can all do it, but us right fielders, we can't do that particularly well. But wow, did he, and you can't say anything else than he meant it. That's exactly what he meant to do. Come across it a little bit, so it could give you some sort of control on it. Because you watch the other players that were shooting on the day, they were lashing it all over the place. The ball was flying everywhere. It was, it was Foden particularly had a few. He wasn't catching it well.
Yeah.
When even Bernardo Silva, and then he just absolutely nails it. So no, he did exactly the right thing at the right time, and it just spun away from the keeper. Not much spin, but enough to take it away from him.
Pep Guardiola was talking about playing under the pressure at the moment, and he was saying Liverpool play without pressure because they know it's not in their hands. It's easy. We have the pressure. I'm not entirely sure that's true. It certainly didn't feel that way at 2-2 in Newcastle on Saturday. However, I mean, even just watching the television, I think there was maybe even just 15 minutes in, and there was the "Come on City" chant, "Come on City, come on City," and even Gary Neville, I think, was on COCOM, and he said, there's just an extra touch of meaning in that "Come on City." There's an extra, not desperation way too early in the game, but there was a kind of a clenched fist of "Come on City, like let's ramp this up." It was that kind of an evening early on, I felt, when it was pretty apparent that Leicester weren't going to roll over.
That's a 60 or 70 minute chant from the City fans.
Yeah.
That's not a 15-minute chant. I mean, I've been there often enough. I mean, they're usually quite calm, relaxed. It's going to come eventually, and they've generally got that about them. So everyone spotted it. You're absolutely right. That's exactly what it felt like there. And just looking at them, they were trying to play their normal game, but there was, as the game went on, and particularly started the second half, they were trying to be over precise with their passes. And when they play their best, it's effortless. It's flicks, it's turns, they know the ball's going there. They've played it and they've turned before they've actually really seen where the ball's going. There was none of that. That had all gone. It was all this precise stuff, and that was them all. That was Bernardo Silva, that was David Silva, that was them all. I don't know. The one phrase I didn't hear is, where's Kevin De Bruyne, when you need him, because he was the one above all that you think, no, he won't do that. He would, and it's a real shame for them that they've not had him. But then all the clubs, particularly in the top six, they've all been suffering for the lack of some of their best players, and you have to cope with it. And at that point in time, it really did feel like this is the time City ain't going to cope with it. Yeah. And I didn't think they were going to get the goal. I really didn't. Just the way it was going. And if you think through the game, how many real chances did City actually make? It was very, very few, considering how many they usually have per game. So, well done Brendan Rodgers, well done Leicester for doing all that. But, I think you're right. It's the tension. It really got to them in that game. And understandably,
Like, I found myself looking at Hamza Chowdhury at 21 years of age thinking, God, this guy's brilliant. Like, it was just it was a really, really good performance from Leicester, like almost comfortable. And then, arguably, as you said, chances-wise, you think of the Maguire run up the left-hand touchline, this extraordinary moment. Do you know what I loved about that is usually when a player does something brilliant like that, through exhaustion and sheer panic and also wanting to do something extra brilliant, then at the end of it, they make a mess of it, whereas he just passed it inside. And they should have scored from that moment, and then there was the Iheanacho one at the end.
Oh, the Iheanacho one was absolutely incredible. I mean, to be honest, the one that obviously played up left, played it into Maddison, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he's got to play that wide. He's got to play that wide, and one-on-one with a goalkeeper, about 15, 16 yards in from the goal, slight angle. If he plays that wide, that's a phenomenal opportunity for them. And I was really surprised because I've watched him, he was up in Scotland for a while, and he knows the pass. It's not that he didn't know that pass was on. He knew that.
I was half wondering if that's the other side of the same coin. So Manchester City and Liverpool have to deal with this at the moment as well. When they're playing in Newcastle or when they're playing in Leicester, Newcastle and Leicester know that everybody's watching. It's a huge window to be in, and you play your best stuff and it could get you a move or another new contract. And that's very difficult for Man City and Liverpool, but I wonder if Maddison there was thinking, geez, if I curl this in, it wouldn't be the worst thing for my career.
And for your historical memory. I don't think you think that as deeply
okay.
as that. But certainly you can see the headlines, and they know the import of the game. And certainly during the game, you know that import and that importance, and that feeling that's around the place. So, you know, that effect you can have it. There was a phrase, I can't remember, somebody used it last night. I think it was in the radio show I was listening to beforehand. Have you ever been a spoiler? You know, have you ever wrecked somebody's league, title? And it was a funny, and it just jumped to me. I was driving down the road actually when it happened, because I remember doing it once.
Oh yeah.
And it stays with you. That club never ever forgive you. West Ham's fans will never forgive me. Nobody else out with West Ham knows what I did.
or cares.
Well, exactly, and now they should. But they were going to win a league one year, and they were right up there. And we went to Upton Park, and they had Cotty and Frank McAvenny and all that. And not only did I score the winner, but to add utter insult to injury, it was a header. I mean, it's just not fair. It just shouldn't be allowed to happen. But you know that would stay with you, And at the time, I wasn't thinking that would stay with me. But I tell you what, every West Ham fan of a certain age basically don't like me for that reason.
Good to know.
But that's the whole thing. You can't. Being a spoiler, you're doing your job. I mean, you're just doing your job, and it's secondary. But it is weird it comes to you. But I don't think Maddison was thinking along those lines, although it would have been a massive part of his career. But that's another thing about it. I mean, everyone's talking about these tiny little sort of changes that have made this league what it is, and the 29 millimetres, all that sort of stuff. At the game I was at Burnley the week before. But you think about it, Maddison hitting from there and Kompany hitting from roughly the same range, who would you put your money on? My money on Maddison just about every single time. And that's how close this league is. It's phenomenal.
I know, you would still tell Vincent Kompany don't shoot the next time he's in that position. Like he's bought no credit. Like, if anything, statistically now it's less likely to happen again. Wasn't it a telling insight into Guardiola's process-driven persona that when Iheanacho misses that chance, and most people I think would have just said, we got away with that, and almost, puffed out the cheeks. Whereas Guardiola lost his mind as if it was the first game of the season, and we need to get to the root cause of how we've been broken down, and he's dragging over Arteta and everything. Like, just enjoy the moment, man. You've just got away with one. Just let it go.
He couldn't think that way, couldn't he? You could just, it was written all over his face, body, everything, as if to say, we almost lost the league in that second. And you, with milliseconds, not wow, breathe out and relax. It was, we nearly lost the league there and then, and it was stupid to actually do it. Of course, Ian actually should have done better, but he didn't deliberately do it. He was probably just a bit, he was tight. He was just on. Having said all that, in the midst of it all, Guardiola, he kind of made most of the right decisions, didn't he? When he had to bring Foden off, he got him off. Sandy didn't have the right effort. He changed the system a little bit, which gave them more possession a bit higher up the park, which in turn that drove Leicester City further back, which in turn allowed the room for Vincent Kompany to run into. So, by doing those tiny little tactical changes, by making it more of a 4-1-4-1, or no, it was two up front, wasn't it? It was Sterling up front. Just tiny little things like that, drags the defence 10-15 yards further back, and I'm sure he wasn't thinking, well, that's going to be how it plays out, but that's how it worked for him, and it was, so tactically, well done him for being brave.
Yeah. Last one on City. You got the impression, I thought anyway, from Vincent Kompany that he's very close to exiting the club, and Guardiola has said that we spoke with him 1 month ago, we're going to take a beer together at the end of the season and decide what's best, especially for the club. Like, Gary Neville was certainly making the argument, this is a cultural architect almost. You keep him around for the next 3 years if you can. You have 60, 70 players beneath him who are seeing the standards he's setting. Now, I don't know if Kompany's happy to be that guy and play 15 games a year. It may depend on that. He may feel, he certainly has an ego, as you might expect. He may feel, well, I'm playing 30 games or not. But if you could keep an influence like that around, and he was happy to be a positive influence, it's a no-brainer, I would have thought, for Man City.
Not sure.
Go on.
Not sure, 100% agree. If he's there, he'll want to play some games. Manchester City generally at the moment aren't in a position to lose anything or take chances. And the big thing about centre halves, and the best, and I mean the very, very best, they go off the edge of a cliff. And if you see them edging towards that cliff, you need to do something about it. I can remember once Rio Ferdinand, just the start of his final season, and he was still seen as a great player. And I was watching a game, he was playing, remember it like it was yesterday, at Cardiff. And he made a tackle, and he tried to get up. And I went, oh my God, old man's legs.
Right.
You thought, from that moment on, was it Cardiff? Anyway, the team he was playing against, and the entire opposition spent the rest of that game just playing on him.
Right.
So they sussed it that quickly.
Right.
That there's the problem. Now with Vincent, it's quite clear. It's unbelievably close to the end.
Yeah.
He goes square all the time.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to chase. Did you see the stumble where he almost did the Steven Gerrard?
Yeah.
After he scored the goal. So it's one of those ones. Sympathy? Yeah, maybe, but I don't think players want to hang about for sympathetic reasons. So if he thinks that cliff's just approaching, he might be tempted to let him go. But, one more year, I can't imagine any more than that.
That is part one of Pat Nevin, recorded earlier on this afternoon before the drama at Anfield took hold. It's 3-0 Liverpool, 77 minutes on the clock. Myself and Kenny Cunningham watching here in the studio. We'll bring you part two of Pat Nevin in just a moment. So last 10-12 minutes that we've been away, Barcelona had a long sustained period of possession without massively threatening, but they certainly slowed the game down a touch. They're on the attack now, and Liverpool are doing what they do whenever they get the ball. They're breaking forward quickly. By the way, Kenny Cunningham, people turned up to see Steve McManaman last week, guest of honour, whatever. If you wanted the real insight, everybody, Kenny Cunningham was your man.
I'm still a believer in terms of Liverpool's season. There shouldn't be any negativity in this room. I can feel the kind of tectonic plate shifting under our feet as we speak. And I still genuinely feel it's going to bubble to the surface in the northwest of England either Monday night of next week or Tuesday at Anfield. Something's going to happen. And I still believe Liverpool are going to be either Champions League winners or league winners in a couple of weeks' time.
I'm getting freaked out just listening to that, Kenny. The tectonic plates.
No, whatever it is, it's just that you get that bit of feeling in your gut. Liverpool sees as well as they've played, they're just going to fizzle out, going to miss out on both fronts. Yeah, that can happen. Yeah. It's a cruel sport. We know that, professional sport. But I've just felt with this Liverpool team, just keep at it. Keep believing something extraordinary could happen.
It will be unspeakably cruel if they now are knocked out this evening and lose the league. Having fought back like this, having played so well in the first leg.
And you've got to go and do it. If they go, Barcelona pinch a goal now and go through at a 3-1 scoreline, it won't be unlucky. Barcelona will have deserved to. They've still got to do the hard.
I said cruel.
Yeah, cruel to it, but that's professional sport. It is
I'm
cruel.
agreeing with you. You literally just said sport is cruel, and I said it'll be especially cruel now.
Yeah, but this is fascinating, Joe. Looking at you're talking about the last 10.
Oh! It's a goal! Is it Kevin? Origi! Oh my God!
Unbelievable! Quick corner. Everybody stood in the box, frozen. Quick corner kick into Origi's the only one who's on the move inside the penalty box.
Oh my God.
Side foot the first time into the top corner.
I literally felt a tectonic plate shift.
That's amazing. I've got to see a replay. I can't understand it. Not everybody else has stood in the penalty box.
God, what happened there? It was like they were trying to play offside from a corner or something.
Trent Alexander-Arnold on the ball.
Here's the corner. Oh, he takes a corner. He pretends to walk away from it. That's brilliant.
God.
Oh, I love it. Trent pretends he's not taking the corner. He starts walking away. Everyone turns their back. He then turns around really quickly, whips the ball in along the ground.
This kid, that is brilliant. Amazing what this kid's doing. Because this isn't worked out on the training pitch. Forget it.
No,
you don't work out things like this. They spoke about Wijnaldum, a free kick at Cardiff a few weeks ago. The lads had worked it out at half time. The corner kick for Wijnaldum.
This is just a moment.
This is different. And this is the young fella looking up and just sensing, seeing Origi in space in the box.
Wow.
There must be seven Barcelona defenders in the box, but nobody's looking at him.
I think they have time. They're looking at Shaqiri, big, squatty little
walking
Shaqiri,
towards the ball.
Walking over. And so they've all turned around the Barcelona defenders to see who's coming into the box. All the while, Origi is standing front post. Trent turns around. I love that we're calling him Trent now. Trent turns around, whips the ball in low, and it's a good finish from Origi. I mean, the ball's bouncing. He has to put it on target. He does. He stays calm. 4-0 Liverpool, 80 minutes in the clock.
Absolutely amazing.
This is unbelievable.
And it's still a job they still got a job to do. They know they're one goal from going away. Barcelona will know that as well. They'll probably back themselves between now and the end of the game to create one or two scoring opportunities. So this is all about Liverpool now. We speak about how they've developed as a team.
Wow.
How strong they are now defensively. Van Dijk now has got to stand up. He's got to pull that whole defensive unit together. He's got James Milner to a certain extent playing out position at left back. The whole midfield is defensive, but particularly at defensive line now, Milner, Van Dijk, Matip and Alexander-Arnold have got to see this game out now.
Yeah.
As good as they've been, the two full-backs going forward and over these two ties, they've now got to sit in now and do a defensive job for the next 10 minutes and shut out Barcelona. That's the challenge now for these Liverpool players and those 4 Liverpool defenders between now and the end of the game.
Yeah, and Barcelona away goal, it looms large. So 81 minutes on the clock. We'll play you now the final 5-6 minutes of Pat Nevin Part 2, and then we'll be back to talk you through the closing minutes at Anfield. Kenny, every time we come on the air, some batshit crazy stuff is happening. I don't know what you possess. Here's Barcelona on the attack. Crosses too deep. Okay, here's Part 2 of Pat Nevin back in 5-6 minutes. Meanwhile, we're witnessing what could well be the worst race for the top 4 of all time. I think all 3 should be just disqualified. We're not having the top 4 this year between Spurs, Manchester United and Arsenal. I'm not quite sure how Chelsea have Champions League football with a game to spare, but that's where we are.
Right. So as I always do, I'm going to give you an alternative viewpoint on that, okay?
Good.
Right. The alternative viewpoint is, so I was at the Spurs game down at Bournemouth, and then I went to the Chelsea game at Watford, right? So Spurs were rank for 45 minutes, and obviously they'd send it off, so they had 2, it should have been 3. But watching them after about 20 minutes thinking, you're all gone. You're absolutely gone. There is nothing in any of those tanks there.
Yeah.
You can't chase, you can't move. There's speed-wise, sharpness-wise, you just look old. Now, they're not old. So why is that? Why does that happen? Is it nervous energy? Is it? And I honestly do think it's simple. It's really simple. That World Cup was always going to get to teams in the end. And I suspect it got to Tottenham more than anybody else. But it's not just that it gets to a team, it gets to your big players. Now, if you look at the end of the season, it's Kane's gone, Eriksen's a shadow of the player he had been for earlier in the season. That takes a lot out of your team. And then watching players like Dyer trying to run, and it was, you think, oh no, Vertonghen, they're really, really, really slowed down at the end of the season, just went to the well slightly too often. Could say the same for certain players in Man United. I'll make a slight excuse for Pogba, although I don't think he's been put that much in this season. But I've watched a lot of the top teams now closely, and there's too many players now that are falling away. And sometimes it's injury as well. De Bruyne, classic example. Salah, Firmino, they've both had massive Salah's had injuries and a slight dip, but others have had, Firmino had a massive dip at the beginning of the season, if you remember it. And all these players played really late into that World Cup year. Then you stick Champions League, then you stick how tight a title race it is, which brings me to Chelsea. They don't look any different, except they managed to go over the line first. Why? Well, have a look at what, in hindsight, and I understand I'm seeing this in hindsight now, look what Sarri done in the Europa League. There was hardly a player playing in that Europa League team that was playing in the Saturday team. He managed it. In hindsight now, he managed it brilliantly. And little things like, just the other week, they played Eintracht Frankfurt away from home. He leaves Hazard on the bench, and he's getting dog's abuse from lots of fans. And I'm thinking, no, I get that. I absolutely get that. You need to know when you use those big players, and if you have to bring them off the bench. So Chelsea, I don't think they're the best of those teams, and I didn't think they were going to make it. I'll hold my hands up clearly. Didn't think at any point in the season they were going to make it. You got to say, well done, Sarri. He managed it pretty well.
And has he saved his job in doing so, or is there firm word on that around Stamford Bridge?
Don't hear much. They keep the class close to their chest. I personally would like him to stay. I like what he's trying to do. It's not happening brilliantly yet, but there have been periods in games. I tend to forget that the vast majority of this season they've had most of the possession for most of the games. There's a massive big gap between them and Liverpool and Manchester City. I don't care who you bring in. I don't think they're going to close that anytime particularly soon. Whereas Sarri, if it's the beginning of what he's trying to do, then you should give him another year. If he ends this season, which after Thursday he might, being in two of the three cups he's in the final of, loses by a millimetre, like by one penalty after extra time against Manchester City, and gets in the top four, you're not telling me he's not done exactly what was written in the tin, what he was supposed to do at the beginning of the season. So, okay, it's not been brilliant, it's not been beautiful. I know all the mistakes, I can see all the mistakes. But the one thing on top of it is Jorginho, over the past 4 or 5 weeks, I'm beginning to hear one or two people beginning to waver and think, oh, actually, he might be quite good. He's learning Premier League football. Tackling's got better, winning the ball in better areas. Maybe he's just watching Kante. He'll never be as good at him as that.
Yeah.
But so without getting carried away with them, I think he's done easily enough to deserve another year. But whether he gets it or not, that's just Chelsea for you.
It's hard not to be struck by the extent to which things have unravelled at Manchester United.
Yeah, it goes back to that. You take a massive chance taking a young manager in and giving him that long contract. But to blame him, well, Mourinho's a good manager and he couldn't get any more out of them. And it is weird. I've had a lot of people saying this phrase, and it's kind of the common thinking. Fans online, ex-pros, that there's a bunch of players that want to work hard, but they're not really that good. They're good, but they're not top quality players. The players with the real quality, Lukaku, Pogba, Martial, are they willing to work that hard for Manchester United? Well, it would appear not. And there's your maybe, and I would agree with the vast majority of people that are saying that over the course of the season has come to be pretty obvious now. Really going in and hurting yourself every single game. The amount of times, if I was doing a deep technical analysis on Pogba, watching most of the games I watched him, honestly, you could absolutely tear him to shreds tactically for not running back, not chasing back, except when he fancied it. And if you're going to be one of the best in the world, he might be one of the best in the world technically.
Yeah.
But you need all the other bits as well, and he's not done it often enough. I think you just keep on making excuses eventually for people, and eventually after a while you've got to say, nah, you need more from them.
Because the notion of a clear-out has been discussed. So with regard to Lukaku, Martial, Pogba, those players who now you could say almost routinely or with great regularity are not hurting themselves and not running, especially at those unglamorous moments where no one's noticing. Have you, in your playing days or involved at various positions at a club, known players who have routinely shirked that work for prolonged periods and kind of happily looked themselves in the mirror and gone into training the next day? To kind of reinvent themselves and become honest players week in, week out?
I don't think they can do it week in, week out, because it's something, it sounds a bit old-fashioned, but it's in your gut. You've got that there, and it's, you do pre-season and you kill yourself, you used to do, for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, at the end of it, they always say, that's in the bank.
Yeah.
That's in the bank. You've got that. You can draw on that for months on end, and if you keep on doing it all the way through training sessions, keep that there, that's fine. If you don't keep it there, you can pull it out now and again, but you're not going to be able to do it. The classic one with Lukaku, brilliantly, again, I'm sure I've mentioned to you before, watching him in the World Cup, in the one game, he was utterly brilliant, one of the best displays you'll see for a centre forward. Next game, couldn't walk. And that's why. It's because it's not in the bank. And I don't think it is in the bank with a lot of those players. And I think there are certain leagues. I'm covering a lot of Italian football at the moment, and I think in Italian football you can get away with it. I really do, just because it's a different style. Maybe, I'm not saying it's easier, it's just different.
Yeah.
Just really, really hard to do that in the Premier League. Just the way that it goes, the tempo the game's played at, the physicality of all the teams that you're playing against, you just can't do it. I mean, another one jumped in my mind, watching Pogba against Wolves this year. Wolves absolutely shredded him. Every player ran off him. But, you put him in a team like Juventus and it'd be brilliant. It'd be fantastic. And so to go back to the original point, which I think most Man United fans are interested in, do you have a clear out? Right, that would be great. Logistically, how hard is that to do? To get 3, 4, 5 out and get the right money for them. You'll get the right money for Martial, you get the right money for Pogba, probably Lukaku as well. You get plenty of money for them all. Okay, who do you get?
Yeah, I know. And what great player wants to go there just now? It's not a safe bet.
Exactly. You need to go and get 4 or 5 of them with their wages, and you pay a premium because everybody knows you're in absolute crisis. You need to do it. So it's incredibly hard to do what they're trying to do. And by the way, when you do it, it might work.
Yeah.
It might not work. So Man United are in a very, very difficult position just now, I think. And, I'm not blaming Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for it. You may or may not be the right guy for the job, but, it is a massive amount need to be done. Maybe not massive amount to get to the top 4, because I looked at them at the start of the season, looked at the squad, looked at the manager and thought, oh, they should be top 4.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy job.
There we are, the brilliant Pat Nevin with us earlier on. 90 minutes on the clock, 45 seconds into added time. There are 5 extra minutes. Liverpool are in the Barcelona half. 3-on-3 here if they can slip the ball to Henderson. Come on, Jordan Henderson, ball back. Mane, save. Oh, headed off the line, PK. Offside. Kenny Cunningham.
That was an amazing play from Mane, Joe. He sprung out. He was the reason they dispossessed the ball off Barcelona. Their counter-attack. He got played in the inside left channel, head up, fed it into Jordan Henderson. Just offside, tried to just feed the ball in back to him. He's just offside. Liverpool gone to a back 5 now. Gomez alongside Van Dijk and Matip, flat 4 across midfield, and just Daniel Sturridge high up the pitch.
Yeah, so Shaqiri's gone off, Sturridge is on, and Origi has gone off for Gomez. Barcelona in the Liverpool penalty area, edge of the area. They're trying to work a shot, dispossess, Liverpool in the clear. They breathe for another moment. 1 minute and 45 seconds of the 5 is played. Shane, I'm finding this hard to go to ads here. Can we flick this around? Can I stay till full time and then we'll go to the ad break and then do a final minute? Would that work? Okay, we're going to stay. I don't think we can leave over the next 3 minutes, Kenny.
3 minutes left. Can they just grab a bit of possession of football? Liverpool, Barcelona pushing them back towards the edge of their penalty box. Good defensive shape, but always nerve ends jangling when Barcelona have this type of possession, 30, 35 yards from your goal. But the defensive shape is good, like I said.
Yeah.
Just don't get too passive. Get as tight as you can, as early as you can.
If you're just tuning in, the first goal for Liverpool came on 7 minutes, Origi. That made it 1-0. And then it got to half-time, still at 1-0, and you kind of thought, well, that's that. And we came out with the old cliche at the start of the second half that the next goal would be crucial. And there were 2 mad minutes, 54 minutes. Wijnaldum scored Liverpool's second. And then 2 minutes later, a brilliant header, Wijnaldum scored Liverpool's third. And then it was game on, 3-3. And on 79 minutes, brilliant thinking from Trent Alexander-Arnold, where he pretended he was not taking a corner and then suddenly spun around as the Barcelona players daydreamed for a moment, spun around and hooked the ball into Origi, who in fairness finished really, really well. And that has got us to a point where it is Liverpool 4, Barcelona 0. And there are 90 seconds left. Barcelona passing the ball around the halfway line. And Fabinho's done brilliantly. He's dispossessed Barcelona and he's drawn the foul. And they're going to take all day to take this free in the Barcelona
Brilliant,
half.
Joe. That's an absolute game winner from Fabinho there. That's what I'm talking about. Get into your defensive shape, but don't forget to go and press the ball when the opportunity presents itself. And that's exactly what Fabinho did. He sprung out. His legs, he must have no juice left in the legs, but it was another 5-10 yard sprint. He got around Messi, could have manhandled him, took the ball off him, and won his team a free kick. And that's absolutely huge. From this position, Liverpool could conceivably see the game out. Got to play this ball sideways, just chip it into the corner, even out for a throw in. Try and pen Barcelona in.
You watch this for a moment. I'm going to give you our winners of the competition. What's the name of the trophy awarded to the winners of the Rugby World Cup? It's the Webb Ellis Cup. When was the first Rugby World Cup held? 1987. And where is the tournament after the one in Japan this year? Well, the next one be held. That's France 2023. So congrats to Maria Carey in Cork, Dave Nugent Tipperary, Mark Mahoney in Meath, Laura O'Brien and Eamon Dwyer in Galway. You're all coming to our show this Thursday, where one person wins a trip to Japan, all with thanks to Heineken, worldwide partner to Rugby World Cup 2019 in Japan. 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
It's happening, Joe. It's happening. Look at the face of those Liverpool substitutions. Robertson, Shaqiri hugging each other. Salah beaming from ear to ear in the touchline. They know that this is done.
Liverpool have a free kick in the Barcelona corner near their flag. Milner on the ball. He knows what to do here. He's going to draw another foul. He's not letting them have it. He's squeezing the ball between his 2 feet. It's over. I just can't believe it. It's the most miraculous comeback I think I've ever seen in football. It's just unbelievable. We're taking a short break. Final thoughts from Kenny in just a second. Well, it's just extraordinary. Liverpool are in the Champions League final. All over Ireland and Liverpool and around the world, there are Liverpool fans suddenly Googling flights to Madrid. It's just unbelievable. The scenes on the pitch are what you might imagine. Jurgen Klopp hugging his players hugging everybody around them, and the scarves are being waved across Anfield.
Joe, it's
just insane.
Yeah, but it's got to be football fans the world over. Forget about Liverpool fans. Must be enjoying this. I know people got their divided loyalties, club loyalties, etc. But this is special. Everybody who's played the game, supported the team, who loves the game, must be getting a sense of enjoyment watching this.
Yeah, it's hard not to. I'm going to have to cut you short for a moment. So time is against us and we're done here, but we're going to continue on our social channels. So join us on Twitter, Periscope, Facebook Live. We're going to continue the chat about this game in just a moment on our social channels, but we're done from a radio point of view this evening. Okay, welcome back. We're here on our social channels. We've just come off the air, obviously, because we had to. But frankly, we're not quite done with this game. Liverpool 4, Barcelona 0. We're watching the scenes from Anfield. Kenny Cunningham looking on all evening. I mean, you felt something miraculous might happen. We're looking at Mo Salah there, concussed against Newcastle in his civvies. I just don't think he can believe it. No one can. There's a Barcelona fan we're looking at right now in tears. The scarves are waving around Anfield. Players being interviewed by Des Kelly and BT Sport. It's all going off. Klopp's like a madman running around the place. I just can't believe it. Like, in the preview chat with Graham Hunter and yourself, I didn't even think to just say, what chance of Liverpool getting through. It didn't actually just seem like worth asking, because obviously nobody was going to tip them to do it. We're looking at amazing scenes now where the entire Liverpool squad are standing shoulder to shoulder, arms around each other in front of the cop. Messi will know where the cop is now, Kenny. And they're belting out something, I'm not sure what, but it's just incredible.
Scenes. These are moments in your career, I mean, you never forget. I was never lucky enough to play at this level, but in moments like these live with you forever. And to share that as a team, this is what team sport's all about, to share this moment with your teammates, manager, the whole kind of backroom staff. What a feeling for these Liverpool players. And I think it's typical of what Klopp's done at Liverpool. They've got this performance with the team you had on the pitch. No Salah this evening.
No Firmino.
No Firmino. But it's just it's always been about the collective, from Klopp's point of view since he's been there. Team spirit, togetherness, one part in the cog. And no better epitomised than the performance this evening. It wasn't perfect, Joe. That wasn't a perfect footballing performance. Like I said, some people I think a little bit off the pace. Shaqiri, passing wasn't great, wasn't as fluent as we've seen Liverpool, but they just dug it out, kept believing, refused to lie down, just kept at it, kept persevering, kept believing that maybe this could be their night. And Origi I'm delighted for, Joe, because we spoke with him before the game in the new camp. They'd no centre forward going into that game, the new camp. And Origi was the natural replacement to go in there, and he stood him down, Klopp, and he put a centre midfielder, Gini Wijnaldum, up there. Yeah. That must have hurt. Psychologically, I questioned. I thought, I'm not sure he can come back from that, youngster. That could be him finished. He's gone out of Newcastle after that and got an all-important goal, and he stepped up tonight, given the responsibility in that number 9 jersey, which he might have felt he should have had in the new camp, and produced one in a lifetime type performance. I do
remember you last week saying, how's he going to feel watching a midfielder start ahead of him? He's going to feel terrible. And I actually agree with you. I thought, well, that's a real sign that Klopp's lost faith in this guy. We're not going to see him again. That's sort of him done. If he's not going to use him tonight, he's never going to use him. Geez, talk about 7 days, been a long time in football.
But it's a great team player for me. Feeling sorry for yourself. He must have almost felt borderline humiliated.
Yeah.
But he's put that to the side. His manager's given him the jersey. Prove me wrong, wherever it is. You've still got a part to play. Your teammates need you. And he's responded in the right way. What a phenomenal... we're talking a lot about Alexander-Arnold in terms of spotting Origi in the box there and actually delivering the ball into him. But Joe, that is an absolute top quality finish.
Yeah.
The ball arrived so quickly, bounced in front of him, had to take it on the inside of his foot and almost kill it as it spun off the surface.
We watched it again back after the initial madness and excitement, and if you just watch Origi, it's really good. He stays calm and he just sorts his feet out very quickly.
Yeah, a little
shuffle.
Yeah.
And you think, like, Alexander-Arnold's caught everyone by surprise. He's whooped one into you. Oh my God, there's a chance to have the calmness to sort your feet out. I'm not going to snatch at this.
No,
imagine that was whipped into you.
No,
it would have been fired back at Arnold. Oh, sorry, mate.
No, absolutely. And if you notice it as well, I just saw the one replay. As the ball on its way, he's just checked his shoulder as well. He's had a quick look over his left shoulder.
Right.
Then that little shuffle of the feet, and then it's all about the connection. The connection has to be absolutely perfect, and that's what it was. But what a performance collectively from an imperfect performance in some respect. Perfectly imperfect, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Not at their best in terms of fluency and the quality of football, but just in terms of like character, togetherness, the fans, the whole thing. Just hanging around in the game, just hanging around, being a nuisance, keep believing, keep pushing. You know, they lose Robertson, probably their best player over the two legs. Milner goes in left back. Wijnaldum comes on. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, they keep pushing, they keep probing.
We're seeing just Alexander-Arnold on his own walking around the pitch now. And he's massively popular. A local lad. He did an interview in the Sunday Times a couple of weeks ago and he spoke brilliantly. You know, real emotional intelligence. Of any player in Liverpool, he's clocked up the most minutes per season doing community work and volunteering in the area. Talked about the toll it took on his brothers that he was playing for Liverpool growing up, and you know they would have had to kick their heels on the sideline and would have thought, oh, he's mum's favourite. You know, still lives at home with his mother, still does the chores, really grounded. And I'm not sure why he's walking around. I hope it's not because he's missing the final or anything like that. The lads might check outside.
Oh, he's just lapping it up, Joe.
Maybe he's man of the match, but maybe he was just lapping it up. They keep cutting to the Barcelona fans as much as the Liverpool fans. Barcelona this evening, when you analyse that in the cold light of day, what the hell?
Now, do you know what, Joe? It wasn't a capitulation. It wasn't. Because they had some good chances this evening during the course of that 90 minutes, and they had some decent spells of football. When the tempo dropped and they could play at their speed, they looked very comfortable. And in those kind of moments, actually create some good opportunities. The Messi chance first half.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. Was there a touch of we're 3-0 up about that?
Who knows? Who knows what was going on inside his head? He's so calm. He's calm. It doesn't matter what the occasion is. He plays the same. But you're absolutely right. When he got that ball, and Jordi Alba squared him that ball, for me, it wasn't a case of will he score or not. He got that sinking feeling. It's Messi, centre the goal. He's got his head up. It's a guy who's going to literally pass this ball into the net. And he didn't. Any other player, you'd be saying, he's overcomplicated it.
Yeah.
What's he do? He's checked back onto, just pass it into the net with your other foot. We don't make those criticisms of Messi. Give Matip a bit of credit, sticking his foot out and making the interception. But they had a couple of moments like that during the game, some good opportunities. Just didn't take him.
They cut to, on the crowd there, they cut to a Liverpool fan and he was having a very emotional moment. And you thought, oh, this is lovely. And then he just gives someone the finger in the distance and screams F you or something.
But it's amazing, like there was a picture, I think it was after a third goal, Joe. I went to a close-up of one of the Liverpool players and it highlighted a couple of Liverpool supporters in the stand. And one of them was going absolutely crazy, throwing a scarf in the air, absolutely crazy. And the Liverpool supporter alongside him was the exact opposite. He had hands on his head, almost in disbelief, almost panic, but feeling the same kind of emotion, but expressing it differently.
This is the bloke who gave the finger a minute ago. He's crying and then mugging people off 10 seconds later. He's all over the place. There's a few Barcelona fans holding up their scarves. One of them had a Barcelona scarf with "You'll Never Walk Alone" on it as well. I mean, it's dreadful for them. Like, can you imagine going to Anfield 3-0 up thinking this is in the bag? There is something special about this Liverpool season. Like, I just wonder now I'm starting to think there's something weird about them. Now I'm starting to think, Brighton away, oh, that's sticky. Oh, that's tough.
I'm not,
I'm being lulled in.
Anything's possible. That's the beauty of the game. Anything's possible. But this Liverpool team, it's great to watch it evolve over the past years, particularly this year, say the last couple of years under Klopp. They've made huge strides this season, Joe, and they're only going to get better. They're going to get stronger, and that's the beauty of the rivalry between them and Manchester City in particular going forward. It's going to be a brilliant rivalry, a truly modern-day rivalry.
There is genuinely a special culture there, which obviously emanates from Klopp. But, you know, you talk about the setbacks this evening. No Firmino, no Salah. You lose Robertson. Milner has to go to left back. No problem. Just this resilience.
Yeah.
I mean, not every club has that. They do have it. They have a proper unity.
Yeah, and it's so much harder at the top clubs, big personalities, big egos, for a manager to get players to convince them, right, you've got to park that.
Yeah.
You've got to put that all aside. It's all about the collective now. It's not about you. That's not an easy thing to say, not easy to do, but he's done that. Klopp, you've seen it evolve under him over the past couple of years, and particularly this season. And it's reaped dividends tonight. We're watching this Origi goal. It's absolutely phenomenal.
This is the Alexander-Arnold corner.
Count those
again.
Barcelona players inside the penalty box.
Ter Stegen's not looking at the ball as it comes in. If we're just seeing it again here, BT are obviously going through some of the goals. Ter Stegen was clapping his hands as if to say, mark up, and then he looks around and the ball's about 3 feet from Origi.
You need your experienced player. It's Joe, even at this level, it's the fundamentals of the game, the simple fundamentals. PK in the centre of that goal, the more experienced players, Alba, switch on.
Can I ask you honestly?
Concentration, face the ball.
Can I ask you honestly? You've been a centre half. You're in the box. You're tired. It's what minute? Get you the exact minute now.
Yeah.
It's the 79th minute. You're seeing Shaqiri walk out to hit an in-swinger. That makes sense. You're seeing Alexander-Arnold head down, walking away from it. Do you, or have you ever, as a centre half, at that moment, taking your eyes off the ball as if to say, I'm going to survey who's coming in? Is Van Dijk coming up? Who? You've looked away. You guarantee you've looked away, and suddenly the ball whipped. That's
not a split second. That's literally people have switched off. Switched off.
You can see how though.
Oh no, you can't, and this is the game. Like, physical fatigue sets in, and mental fatigue then invariably follows. But that's the key. You have to recognise the fact your body's wilting, but mentally you've got to get into that mindset. I'm going to keep myself switched on. Those concentration levels, it's almost a skill set in itself. My body's let me down, but I'm going to keep my mind switched on. I'm going to keep my concentration levels. Yeah. They didn't concede that goal because somebody couldn't run quickly over 10, 15 yards. They conceded that goal because the concentration levels dropped for a split second. And that was it. Just that little bit of mental fatigue, a little bit of laziness between the ears has potentially cost those Barcelona players a Champions League final.
There were those 2 insane minutes where Wijnaldum scored 2 goals in the 54th and 56th minutes. Like, when we're previewing this game, Wijnaldum on the bench was not a player we picked out worthy of 10 minutes discussion beforehand. I mean, he took the goals really well. I thought, so the header was brilliant, and it's Shaqiri's cross. But then, do you know what I really liked about his first goal? Is that he just said, I can only do so much with this ball played back to me at the edge of the area. I'm just going to get a good contact on it and see what happens. I'm not going to overextend myself. There's only so much I can do here. He just said, I'm going to just...
That's not easy to get that good contact that you're talking about, Joe. Yeah. That contact that he got at Cardiff, similar, the kind of trajectory of the ball. Yeah. That's not easy. And when this fella came to the football club, he was playing as an attacking midfield player. He got a couple of great goals arriving heading the ball. When he first came to Liverpool, I thought, he's going to get a lot of goals, this fella. He's an attacking midfield player.
Yeah.
And his role has kind of changed a little bit under Klopp, particularly this season. We've seen him playing the holding midfield position. But I saw him play at Belgrade in the Champions League qualifying games out in the season, and that convinced me he's not a holding midfield player. He hasn't got the defensive attributes to play there. Very versatile game, looks a great professional, great team player. They'll play anywhere, no ego. We're talking about no ego whatsoever. I'll go in and do it for a job. But this, for me, this position is where he's at his best. Fabinho was holding midfield, him and Henderson given licence to use that running power to get into the box, and that's what he did. That third man run, Joe, is a killer for centre halves to pick up.
We're seeing some tweets from the world of football. John Aldridge, yes. John Aldridge, who called, I think, Luis Suarez a little rat in the build-up to this game for celebrating the goal last week. Wet at team. What a manager and what a performance. What support. Love this club. No better arena. Shh. It's also gone quiet elsewhere. You'll never walk alone. Although firing out punches. The beauty next to me might just be coming back to Anfield again. Gary Lineker, who was celebrating Messi's free kick last week on BT. Jonathan Walters, looks like it's written in the stars for Liverpool this season. Can they win the Premier League now on Sunday?
Yeah, I don't. But I don't understand that this kind of.
Don't have to Johnny Walters.
No, this you mentioned reference Lineker and celebrating them. Yeah, I know he played for Barcelona, but this is an English club. You got to get behind the English teams.
Genuinely got the impression that Lineker and Ferdinand weren't really celebrating Barcelona beating Liverpool. They were celebrating the genius of Messi. Genuinely, I think they were just
Yeah, they
saying,
can do both. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Recognise how good the world-class player that he is, but ultimately you've got to be getting behind You've got to get behind the English. Everybody's a winner.
I have no doubt BT Sport, as we speak, are putting out the videos of Gary Lineker celebrating Liverpool's fourth. 100%.
And you know what? I'm going to mention as well. It might seem a little bit trivial.
Here we go.
Suarez tonight. Suarez's performance tonight I didn't enjoy.
Why?
Really did. In the context of the game, we're talking about wholehearted players putting everything on the line. Liverpool's players and even Barcelona players. And, great game of football in a lot of respects. High level. And then, Suarez antics on the night. Rotten stuff, you know what I mean? Theatrics, over-exaggerating, looking to get players booked. There was the kick out at Robertson. Looks as if it's contributed to him leaving the game. I hate to see that.
That's ugly. Just the way he is, though.
Ugly. It is the way he is, but I hate to see it. It's a real ugly side of the game.
Yeah, maybe.
For a player of his quality.
Liverpool fans
he let himself down tonight.
Liverpool fans loved it when he did it for them. Loved it when he did it for them.
I don't think so. I don't think that stands up. No, I'd like to think not, because I think Liverpool supporters are very fair-minded. No, I don't think anybody.
Kenny, it's not the night to drag it up.
No, it's not. Like I said,
even the Evra case. Look at the way the club stood by him. Fans are blind. You know, when someone's doing it for you, you think it's great, and when it's against you, it's terrible.
Yeah, probably a conversation for another day.
Yeah,
I take your mind. But do you know what? How's he feeling in the dressing room now this evening? How's he feeling about himself? What goes round comes around.
Ian Wright, that was an unbelievable result. Don't care what anyone says. The way Liverpool have played this season, trying to catch a phenomenal team like City and may miss out in the league. They deserve to get to the final. I think everyone has that sentiment. Instinctively, there's just something wrong if Liverpool don't win something this year.
I wouldn't go that far, because I think you've got to earn it. You have to earn it to deserve. Yes, they deserve it now because they've gone and earned it. They've done it. They've done it the hard way and shown all the qualities and attributes that we've spoken about. So because of that, for me, yes, they deserve to, because they won that game 4-0 as a result of those things that we're talking about.
I guess in the league you could argue they might. You could count yourself slightly unlucky that you're coming up against this exceptional City team and that your points tally in many other years would have got you over the line. But look, I know what you're saying. By the way, on Wijnaldum's goal, the one that he hit in from the edge of the area, it was Trent Alexander-Arnold who wins the ball to set up that chance and who puts in the cross.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for what is he, 1920 kind of territory, he's a phenomenon.
This is the good thing. He can get better. The defensive side of his game has to improve. Positionally, he's still a little bit unsure of himself. His decision-making isn't great. I can understand the reason why Klopp has elected at times to leave him out. But don't forget about what he brings, how productive he is when he's in the team.
Yeah.
And he showed it again this evening. That forced Wijnaldum home was absolutely huge. So that kid's going to get better, and as good as he is, he will get better. The defensive side of his game should improve. Seems like a smart lad. He's got some good coaches around him there, some experienced players. Hopefully we'll see that. Seamus Coleman, when he first came into the Everton team, Joe, brilliant going forward. Defensively, a little bit unsure of himself, positional sense, needed to learn the game as a defender. That's exactly what Seamus did. That's what this kid's got to do, and he's going to be an even better player.
Nice tweet to finish on, because sometimes, we all get caught up in the aggressiveness of football fandom sometimes. When he reached the Barcelona fans, Alexander-Arnold, this is Rob Draper who's at the game, Alexander-Arnold tentatively applauded, maybe fearful of the reaction of the Barcelona fans. To a man and woman, they stood and applauded his and Liverpool's extraordinary display, which is a nice touch. There was huge dignity in that away end, says Rob Draper. Yeah, I think a lot of the Barcelona fans look to be genuinely shell-shocked, but also kind of acknowledging what they had seen and how extraordinary it was. So look, you're back tomorrow on OTB-AM, and then you're back in tomorrow night. Your beloved Ajax against your beloved Spurs. It'll be some final. Look, if Liverpool can get through this evening, Spurs can most definitely get through tomorrow.
Can you imagine it? Just got to win. Simple as that, Spurs. Just got to win. Win a game of football.
Yeah. Okay. Any final thoughts, Kenny?
We've said it all.
We've said it all. Your taxi's
right night. My taxi's.
That's what you really want to say.
Suarez would be in the back of the taxi with me.
Yeah. Okay, extraordinary stuff. So we thought we'd stay on and chat a bit more about that game. A 4-0 win for Liverpool. They're in the Champions League final. It's literally unbelievable. I still can't quite believe it. So loads more reaction on OTB-AM tomorrow, 7:45. It's our morning breakfast show here on all our social channels is where you'll get it with the lads every weekday morning. And then we're back 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. So we'll see you then. Good luck.